Dear beloved Creator of all that is, this war we are in between good and evil is real and identifiable by so many of us. For the many of us who do recognize it every day, even every moment, we are reminded of this battleground, the urgency of our right actions and right thoughts. We are, no doubt according to plan, your plan, Creator, drawn closer to you by virtue of the seriousness and obviousness of the two sides. Seeing the situation for what it is and the seriousness of our current plight, the good versus evil fight, we are naturally and increasingly drawn to you and better able to recognize the influences affecting our friends, our family members, our colleagues, and yes, sadly, our children. We are also knowing that our truth, our words, and our love are our most powerful weapons. Therefore, we knowingly and valiantly take up the armor of God, knowing there is risk, willing to do battle, willing to face death, if even only that of the ego, because we know what we know. While imperfect, we know that our service to Creator and to our fellow humans is righteous and good, and we humbly ask that our kindness, our honesty, and our very consciousness permeate every negative nanoparticle with our love and determination and loyalty to the one true Creator. And so it is.
Thank you, Charlie.
Pleasure.
My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. We made a recording yesterday and didn't get everything said. We didn't get to the solution, and we think we have a solution. So I'm going to read some notes here, and then we'll see if we can talk about it and get some things settled. Creating a solution from the materials at hand. The primary material is a desire to return the several states to the United States of America, a constitutional Republican form of government. That's job one and the goal. Everything else is a distraction and off the goal. The path is wide and can accommodate people that want that goal. Our goal, if your goal is to research, you're distracted. We already know twice as much as we need. We need specific issues researched, not everything. If your goal is to figure it out, you're distracted. We do not have to have it all figured out to get the job done. Just enough. And get it done step by step. The language and the nomenclature is clear. The basic documents are hidden from us, but we have a sufficient amount of information to get to our goal. If your goal is the necessity, trust, and money, you're a distraction.
Anybody see how we can be distracted away from the goal of being a republic?
Yeah, every single day, everybody that I talk to.
COVID-19 could be a major distraction right now.
COVID-19 is, and along with that is fear. People have a lot of fear, whether it's about COVID, whether it's about the government taking away their privileges, if it's about being fined or arrested if they speak out. There's just a lot of fear.
Yep, exactly. And people that tend to be in the mindset that we might be, they tend to search around, watching online videos about what the hell's going on around the world. And I'm finding that to be a major distraction. I've had to cut myself way back. Of course, being sick for the last 3-4 weeks has helped me cut way back on that content. But I still kind of look there out of the corner of my eye to see what's going on. Australia, UK, and whatnot, trying to see what's going to happen here. But the reality is that's not helping us in the Republic. Watching, if anybody's out there watching the 24-hour news channels on cable, they're massively distracted. They can't do anything but sit there and keep their eyes on what the hell they're going to say next. What do you guys think about that?
It's been so long since I watched any mainstream news that I don't even know. I don't think
Yep.
our television has been turned on in 2 or 3 years.
Yep. I cut
It
mine
is-
off way back in like about 2007.
William, it
Yes.
is all part of the plan. As it is today. Hitler did the same thing. Remember, Karl Marx was a drunken, perverted publisher when they were trying to take over the world back then, 70 years ago, when China converted over to communism, when Cuba turned towards a third world country. They must take over the publishers to feed us a line of crap, and whoever swallows it goes down with the ship. We're taking our country back.
They don't call it programming for nothing. Programs.
Yeah, I've told
Yep.
people that in the past, and they go, "Yeah, I think that's a little extreme, dude." And I'm like, "Well, I'm watching it and seeing what's going on with all the people, and their eyes are all focused on there. Like when 9/11 happened, they couldn't get their eyes off the TV set. Man, they were so distracted. Anything could have happened. They could have been robbed and all kinds of stuff while they were watching the damn TV set."
we
Show
pretty
them a
much
lie.
Yep.
we pretty much can tell who are the TV viewers and who are not by virtue of going out and seeing who wears masks and who does not, who's done their research and who has not.
Yep.
Absolutely
Exactly.
true.
Is to get to a certain point where you finally realize that you've been distracted, that they've planned on doing it, and then stopping. And that's kind of what I think Ron was saying in this video, is that you need to get to a point where you go, okay, there's no boogeyman outside. They're just pretending that there is. And now I need to go to bed and get some rest so that we can get up tomorrow and take back the Republic. Right, Ron?
Very close. Very close.
All right. I think
There.
we
Yeah.
took care of this one.
If your goal is DMV and driving and travel, you're a distraction. The same goes for all the other centers of activity. Keep on with all of your current responsibilities. Don't shirk your job. Keep on with it. They are all important to many individually. Don't give up. Stand and deliver. Understand that it is a battle. I think that that's critical right there. The people that are doing things, you don't want to shake them off what they're doing. You just want to add 2 hours a week of their schedule to getting back Oregon's constitutional Republican form of government. Then the issue that they're working on, such as whatever, masks or vaxes or pornography in grade schools, whatever it is, will go away when all of the pseudo government we have has to act like government and be responsive to the people. I yield.
So what you're saying is that if I've been working on a cause for 30 years, like say, ending marijuana prohibition, I should continue to do that, but make sure that I set aside the time to get the Republic back? or should I cut off working on my 30-year project for working on the Republic? Which one are you saying?
I'm saying continue to work on your 30-year project, but find 2 hours a week in there for helping us return Oregon to a constitutional Republican form of government.
Great. I
I
think
would
that's
add,
going to make a lot of people happy out there. Because man, it's really hard to cut off a 30-year project or a 20-year project or a 10-year project or even a 2-year project that really, is been at your heart that whole time.
I would also add that the work that the Assembly is doing is going to also support most of these projects that people are working on, because it is when we're really doing a heartfelt project in the community, and we know that it's going to benefit the people. The work the Assembly is doing is a segue for that. It's a support of that, and so therefore, the more we can do as the people in contributing responsibly to our communities, no reason to give it up whatsoever. We're actually fortifying each other.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you, Charlie. As far as I'm concerned, if it's this bad now, it's only going to get worse. We must return ourselves to a Republican form of government. And yes, we will have to remove the de facto. And we must do it quick, because we all know what House Bill 2238 was about: seizing our property without compensation. And what we're finding out about the schools and how they are trying to highly sexualize our children. They want our children, they want our property. This cannot be allowed.
they want our lives.
That's
Well,
right.
I would say that because there's so much coming at us from every possible conceivable direction, and I mean from the bad guys, we have to, as the people, do the same in response. We have to stand up wherever we're drawn to stand tall and hold our ground, whether it's the assembly work, whether it's about COVID and not willing to take the vax, whether it's talking to sheriffs or being involved in holding our politicians accountable, doing lawsuits, even in the de facto. I believe that everyone needs to pick whatever their issue is, and also recognize that the assembly is the people. We are your assembly, everyone's assembly. So come and join us, support us, and we support you in kind. I yield.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that if anybody has these projects out there and they find evidence of wrongdoing, according to our law, bring them to us and then see what we can do. Right?
Well said,
Correct.
William.
Correct. And also, just to remind everyone that we are a common law jurisdiction. The Assembly is supporting common law, which is to return us to a Republican form of government. So this is constitutional, the original Constitution. So it's really good for people to recognize the difference, know that we are not supporting this commercial code, admiralty law, fringe on the flag Constitution, and commercial. So I yield.
Not a goal. We are in a war between the righteous and evil, godly and ungodly. If you are neutral, you acquiesced. If you acquiesced, you acquiesced to evil. Atheists have no rights. Those are God given and unalienable. No God, no rights. You get what they give you. Individually, you can win a battle and hooray. A win is a win. Thrown out of court, looks like a win. Family court dropped their claim, Looks like a win. Traffic court dismissed the case. All of them are individual successes, important, and they must be fought. Do not give up. But they do not further the cause. Remember the goal. The IRS is a distraction. It is a fight and a battle. So is probate and passport. If you are into one of those, fight your fight and seek help. There is lots of help on YouTube and websites designed specifically as a business model to help you. That is their goal. They are looking after their self-interest, and I applaud them. They are not working towards our goal. Agent provocateurs are real. The fraud we are fighting is real. Our enemies will use whatever to deceive us. That's their law form. He who can be deceived, let him. They're in color of law. I'd like to back up on that a little bit. Everybody that's in this that I've come across, with very, very few exceptions, have their own particular thing that drew them into this. They lost a kid in family court. They got unlawfully convicted of something. They had to make a treaty with the devil to keep from going to prison. All of these things that can happen to you along the way put you into a frame of mind to fight for that one particular thing. Richard comes to mind. He's totally committed to one thing, and that's DMV. And that one thing caused him to have his second thing, which is Kate. And he can hardly get out of that to even see anything else. And there are so many people like that. They're just tormented, and there's no way out for them. And I think we got a way out for them. I really do. Bring them
I
in.
do too. Yep. And
Yep.
I remember talking to Richard, and his cause was not originally DMV. His cause was originally child parent child things and custody, and then it ended up switching over to the DMV because it became even bigger, right?
And his kid grew up.
Yeah, exactly. So he switched to another cause, and sometimes we have to do that. Like here in Oregon, the marijuana cause, the marijuana prohibition, basically ended here in Oregon, and then that freed up my time, and then I found this team here. So now I'm focusing my energy on the Republic. I wish I would have found it earlier, but I think I found it just about on time.
I do too. We really didn't need all of the communication skills that you bring to the table before you got here.
Yep. So I think everything happens in time. It's one of my things that I say. Sometimes we can go too early and push things and get harmed. But if we just let things kind of like ride smoothly, we're going to be better off. And in this cause too, we know that this could be dangerous if we go too fast and make a mistake. A big mistake. I'm not talking about these little tiny mistakes, but I'm talking about big mistakes. So we just take this cautiously, one day at a time, correct ourselves slowly, and I think we're going to all be safe.
We're looking for 2 hours a week of actual measurable production. Here are some items to remember. The Pareto distribution. In any hierarchy, 50% of the production is done by the square root of the group. You have to do it yourself. Nobody can do it for you, and you can't do it alone. It takes 5 or 6 people to get the whole process down on paper and filed. Then 21 days for the acquiescence and the default to happen on your state or territory. We have completed this paperwork phase and can show you how to do what it took us 2.5 years to do. And you can do it in 21 days, 30 if you're slow. The whole COVID, food shortages, fuel shortages, shortages of every kind. The real life drama. They're designed to be that way. The Georgia Guidestones are real. Their goal is set in stone in 8 languages. Are you too stupid to figure it out? 12 to 15% of the population is not smart enough to join the military. Those same people are smart enough to cause a lot of trouble. So, when I look at these things that we're trying to do, and I look at Lavoie talking to us from beyond the grave at the end of every one of our programs. Thank you, William, for putting that in. You got to get to the conclusion that we have to win this thing or we're dead. And if you don't come to that conclusion, then you're stupid. And if you come to that conclusion and don't do anything about it, then you're suffering from cognitive dissonance. When you have the ability to hold 2 conflicting things in your brain, knowing they want to kill you and not doing anything about it, and knowing what you have to do and doing something else, it's beyond me. But then I had it for years. I had it till I was 75. There's people out there that absolutely know smoking is bad for them. They understand it, they comprehend it, they can tell you the details, and they smoke. They're dealing with cognitive dissonance. They are not the kind of people we need. We need people that can comprehend and do the work and give 2 hours a week to their state or territory to help us bring forth a constitutional Republican form of government. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Unmute your mic and say whatever it is that you want to say. Okay.
I'll just say one thing, and that is that it's really important for us to be aware of how we spend our time, given what's at hand. It's easy. I know we're very involved with all kinds of activities, whether it's family, work, it doesn't matter. But if we can square enough time away for a cup of coffee and sit and do the crossword puzzle and talk on the phone for a while with friends or watch a video, we can also take time out to spend an hour here and an hour there for the cause, because the cause is vital, critical. It's actually life or death. I yield.
Thank you, Charlie. Well, that's it as far as I'm concerned. I've got out what I think I can say. I could discuss it with anybody that wants to discuss it.
I quote John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. In this case, our assembly is asking what you can do for your state.
Another
Yeah.
quote. I can't remember the guy that said it. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself.
Right.
Who was that?
That was not Winston Churchill.
Oh, Winston Churchill. Yep.
Well, I'd like to read something that's just really basic, and we say it a lot, and I'll say it again. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper.
Thank you, Charlie. I don't know what can top that one.
Today, no war has been declared, and however fierce the struggle may be, it may never be declared in the traditional fashion. Our way of life is under attack. Those who make themselves our enemy are advancing around the globe. The survival of our friends is in danger, and yet no war has been declared. No borders have been crossed by marching troops. No missiles have been fired. If the press is awaiting a declaration of war, before it imposes the self-discipline,
they do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying, and then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up.
And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.